Today we look at Google's Agent Development Kit 2.0 for Python, which reached general availability on May 19, 2026 at Google I/O. Its headline change is the Workflow Runtime, which moves ADK from a hierarchical agent executor to a graph-based execution engine where agents, tools, and functions become nodes in a workflow graph. In the next few minutes, we cover what the Workflow Runtime is, how the graph engine executes, why it matters for building reliable agents, and how to start applying it. Let's start with the core idea behind Google ADK 2 Workflow Runtime. Here are the essentials of Google ADK 2 Workflow Runtime in plain language, what it is and why it was introduced. Google shipped ADK Python 2.0 to general availability on May 19, 2026 at Google I/O. It is the open-source, code-first toolkit for building, evaluating, and deploying AI agents, and version 2.0 is a major step up from the original release. The headline change is the Workflow Runtime. ADK 2.0 moves from a hierarchical agent executor to a graph-based execution engine, so your agents, tools, and functions are now evaluated as individual nodes inside one workflow graph rather than a fixed parent-child tree. As a graph engine, the Workflow Runtime supports routing, fan-out and fan-in, loops, retry, and shared state management. It also adds dynamic nodes, human-in-the-loop steps, and nested workflows, giving you deterministic execution flows for agentic apps. ADK 2.0 adds structured agent-to-agent delegation. We get a multi-turn task mode, a single-turn controlled output mode, and the ability to drop task agents directly into the graph as workflow nodes, making coordinator and sub-agent designs explicit. Now let us look at why Google ADK 2 Workflow Runtime matters in practice. Here is where Google ADK 2 Workflow Runtime shows up in real products, teams, and decisions. The graph engine gives us ASL-IDER, from dynamic, model-led reasoning to strict, deterministic workflows. That matters because we can keep open-ended agents where we need flexibility and lock down critical paths where we need repeatable, predictable execution. Because routing, retry, loops, and state management live in the runtime itself, we write less custom orchestration glue. The Workflow Runtime handles fan-out, fan-in, and recovery, so failure handling and branching are configured rather than hand-coded. ADK 2.0 introduces breaking changes, including new node_info and output fields on the core event schema to track graph state. Before upgrading a 1.x project, we should review the migration notes and test against the new event structure. Separately, ADK Go 1.0 landed in March 2026 with native OpenTelemetry tracing and refined agent-to-agent support. With releases shipping roughly every 2 weeks, and the latest Python release dated June 4, 2026, we should track changelogs closely. Let us recap the key takeaways on Google ADK 2 Workflow Runtime and what to do next. The core takeaway is that Google's Agent Development Kit 2.0 for Python reached general availability on May 19, 2026 at Google I/O, marking a significant expansion of the toolkit. The Workflow Runtime replaces the old hierarchical agent executor with a graph-based execution engine, where agents, tools, and functions are evaluated as nodes in a workflow graph. The engine brings routing, fan-out and fan-in, loops, retry, state management, dynamic nodes, human-in-the-loop, and nested workflows, plus structured agent-to-agent delegation with task agents as graph nodes. Upgrading from 1.x means handling breaking changes like the new event node_info and output fields. With a roughly bi-weekly cadence and a June 4, 2026 release, we should follow the changelogs. That is our look at the Workflow Runtime in Google ADK Python 2.0, the graph-based execution engine that went generally available on May 19, 2026. If you want to build reliable, deterministic agent workflows with built-in routing, retry, and state, this release is worth a close read. For more information, visit Standarity.com. See you in the next video.